This is the greatest Honda motorcycle ever made. No, not this one. We're getting close. Cue the intro. What's up, guys? I'm Sean from Srkcycles, and right now we have a 2011 Honda Shadow RS. This is a 750cc motor, and this is the same thing. So the way Shadow does it, they have the Shadow and the Phantom. There's a couple of the Shadows. The way this works is this is the same frame and wheels and basically, same thing as the other bike, same engine, same transmission. But they do these mild little changes. And the changes that they've done on the RS is it's got a lower, flatter seat. It actually sits 3 inches lower than the normal Shadow. It has 2 degrees less rake, and the biggest difference is the smaller tank. It's more of a Sportster style tank, and it really kind of makes the bike look real aggressive and awesome looking. Also, the pegs are more mid-range, and it weighs 40 pounds less than the other Honda Shadows. And then the other awesome thing about this bike, the reason I paid way too much for it, and the reason I'm making no money when I sell it, is this awesome Honda Racing factory paint color. It's just the coolest looking paint scheme I've ever seen. Normally, I love white bikes. I think that bike is beautiful, but compared to this, man, this thing is awesome looking. So with all these mild little subtle changes, they pretty much made an entirely new bike, and I love it. I think it's awesome. You get the same super reliable power plant. It's motorcycles like this that have given Honda its incredible, good reputation, where you put oil, you put gas in it, changing the oil is questionable, like whether you have to do it or not, and make sure it's got a good battery, and the bike will always run. So what you have is this awesome looking, kind of Sportster style, not quite cafe, but awesome bike, where normally I might feel a little too small on a regular Honda Shadow. I feel awesome on this, and I think a bike like this is perfect for guys who are normally riding, okay, I think bikes like this are perfect for people who this might be their first bike, or a mid-range bike for mid-range riders, or for guys that want a second bike or a third bike. Let's say they have that full touring bike, and they're like, I want something a little lighter, a little more lighthearted that I can jump on, that I can ride, and I don't have to, I'm not moving around all this big weight, you know what I mean? I'm not doing big trips. I'm 6'2", I feel great, I feel very comfortable on this bike, and I think it's pretty awesome. So what really excites me most about this bike is that the way the industry is going, with all the tech and the ABS and the power modes and just all this tech that you put on these bikes, which I think is great. When it comes to longevity of a motorcycle, I'm honestly not so sure. This bike is simple. It's a motorcycle. It's got the least amount of buttons possible. On, off, start, horn, turn signals, lights. The legal limit of buttons, this bike only has that many buttons. It looks awesome, and I feel like a bike like this is gonna stand the test of time, that in 50 years from now, your grandkids are pulling this thing out of a barn or out of the garage, and they're pumped about it, they're cleaning it up, and they're still riding it. Just like I ride that Honda Trail 90, that very simple Honda Trail 90, which in many ways kind of concerns me about some of the new bikes coming out. Honda just came out with the Super Cub, but it has it's got a little key fob. So you need the key fob in your pocket in order to ride it. 50 years down the road from now, that key fob is going to be lost. The system, that key fob connects to the computer, which makes it hard, almost impossible, for you to actually start the thing without the key fob. And no one's gonna bother getting those bikes running. Just go get something different. That's why I love bikes like this. This thing could last. This thing could do the distance. It could last for a long time, and it's an awesome ride. Let's take it for a spin. All right, guys, before we do the test drive, let's do the words of wisdom. Romans 10:10, for with the heart a person believes, resulting in righteousness, and with the mouth he confesses, resulting in salvation. That is the Bible. All right, let's ride this bike. Put on my gloves, M1 Moto gloves, if anyone was wondering. I think this bike is one of those bikes that's just kind of surprising in all aspects. And what's great about it is for very little money. I think we had this thing listed for $3,700. For very little money, I think the tire pressure's off a little bit. For very little money, this really opens up a lot of opportunities of riding and cruising and the highway and the country roads and the back roads and the city, and and riding by yourself and getting away from everyone, and then riding with people and meeting new people who also ride, and then putting a girl in the back and meeting, you know, going on ride dates and stuff like that. It just really opens up a lot of cool opportunities. And it's a beautiful looking bike. It's a bike that, like, it's really hard for someone to be like, it's a dumb looking bike, because it's not. It just looks awesome, and it's fun, and it's peppy, and I think you'll be surprised. I think you'll be really, really surprised with how quick the 0 to 60 is, which we're gonna do in about 3 to 4 minutes. It's got mid-range pegs, so the pegs are a little bit higher up and a little farther back. So if you want to hit those corners, you know what I mean, you're not going to drag floorboards like if you were on like the Aero that has floorboards. The clutch is super light. It is a cable clutch. I mean, you could pull with your pinky. No, the middle finger. You can pull with your middle finger, the finger next to your middle finger, with a slight assistance from your middle finger, if you were wondering. A very laid back bike. I love the gauge design. It's simple. You don't have 30 different gauges. They're always like, my temp good, my voltage good, is this good, is that good? Those things don't go wrong anyway on a bike. They're not gonna go wrong on this bike. So all you need to know is, am I speeding, and how much is the ticket gonna be from me speeding? All right, so there's some bikes you buy and you're like, all right, this is my first bike. It's my first bike, and in a couple weeks, days, months, years, I'm gonna get another bike. I'm gonna trade this in and get another bike. This is probably not one of those bikes. This is one of those bikes that it could be your first bike, but you don't sell it. You just kind of keep it around because it's awesome and it's still fun. No matter what you step up to, jumping on this bike will be different. It's still fun. It gets you, you know, you can easily cruise on it. It's not a rocket. It's faster than you think, and it's a bike that you can just have forever, which is probably why you don't see too many of this specific color scheme getting sold. Maybe you do, I don't know, I don't recall looking, but when I saw it, I had to have it, even if I lost money on selling it, which might be, I gotta look. I paid a lot of money for it, way too much. But this is what motorcycle riding is all about. This right here. Beautiful fall days, not too hot, not too cold, just smelling that fresh air, banging through a couple gears, and then throttling out of a corner. Guys, if you were wondering about these gloves, and I know I already mentioned them, but you want to see if you want to buy them, check out bikesandbeardsgear.com. We have them on bikesandbeardsgear.com for sure. One of the baddest motorcycle gloves in existence. These are actually lined with Kevlar. This whole palm right here is all Kevlar. This whole palm right here is all Kevlar. And we torture tested these things to death, and then we did it again, and they were tough. All right, so if I had to guess what 0 to 60 would be, I'm pretty confident that I can get this thing. The number I'm shooting for is 4.5 seconds, which is pretty quick. But I think I can do it. That's my goal. That's like I think it'll definitely be under 5 seconds, which is still pretty quick. All right, let's do it. Right there. Nah, okay, that was maybe 6 seconds. I thought it'd be faster. Now this is a 5-speed gearbox, and if you were wondering, let's throw it out there. Let's just throw it out there. Is the 2011 Honda 750 Shadow RS big enough for a man on the highway? And I'm gonna go with yes it is. Yeah, it's great. It's got plenty of power. I mean, think about this. An 8 horsepower motorcycle can get me going like 45 miles an hour on the highway. This is a little more than 8 horsepower. This is at least 10 horsepower. At least 12. So it should get me to, you know, much higher speeds. And it does, and it feels good. Now when a big tractor trailer, you know, drives by, is it gonna look like this? Am I gonna be like, you know, am I gonna feel like I get pushed a little bit? Yeah, whatever. That's all part of riding. That's why I got this big old lane. and you kind of get used to it. But no, it's definitely big enough for a man on the highway, and I feel pretty good on it. Now, is it the most comfortable bike I've ever ridden on the highway and going fast? No. I mean, a Gold Wing or a nice backrest would be nice, and then the the occasional ability to change my feeding position to something else would be nice. I could always throw back and put my feet on the back pegs. Oh yeah, there we go. Right there. But yeah, so if you have a commute and you're looking to drive this, say you have to drive this thing on the highway or something along those lines, I think this could be a great bike. Tons of fun. Wind at your chest, at your head, at your legs. It's a double-sided sword. This bike gives you no protection from the elements, but when it's hot outside, you don't want protection from the elements. You want as much wind hitting you as possible. And so if it's raining, you're getting soaked. Every part of you is getting soaked. Every part of you. If it's hot, you're getting cooled down. Every part of you. That's what's awesome about these bikes, and it's simple. And it's simple, and it's clean, and it's, I'd say you could work on it with a hammer, but you don't need to work on it. You just put gas in it. All you have to do is just open that up, stick your thing in there, and put fuel in it. 5,300 miles. Probably by the time I'm done, it'll be 5,400 miles. And it's definitely peppy. It's definitely fun. All right, guys, that wraps it up. We'll see you guys later. Don't forget to subscribe. And remember, it is not what you're riding. It's where you're going. We'll see you guys next time.